Hello, Miss Christina.
Hi, Amy. So good to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I just love you, love your energy, love who you are. And it's such an honor to be here with you, talking to your audience.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Yeah, well, it's my honor actually. I will say it is my honor because you really have so much to give to us because our whole world, our social network is based on relationships. And of course, you talk more about romantic and love relationships. And this is why I wanted to have you on the show because here we are on Valentine's Day. So, what a better time to celebrate love than on Valentine's? Um, we're here, though, to talk about aging and relationships, which I actually call aging growing forward with time. I really like my little tagline there. And I want you to touch on helping us out, my audience, with a couple of, topics that we have coming up. But I wanted to start off with love language, Cristina Davy. What's your take on the whole love language take on, relationships?
Oh, I'm so happy that somebody actually did the research and really came up with it. And I remember what a revelation for me was when I was married. And I think it was our psychologist that introduced us to us. I think I was in my early 30s or late 20s or something like that. And it really made so much sense, because I remember my husband giving me so many presents and, spoiling me with jewelry and everything. And I never really cared about it. But what I really cared about was, at the time for me, was actually, I wanted quality time with him. And it was so important. I felt like I could never have it. And it was really it really helped me understand, how to make the other person feel love, because often in relationships we really give or show love in a way that it makes sense to us, instead of in a way that is really relevant to the other person. And it makes a really huge difference to speak the language that your partner speaks when it comes to love.
Love is an action, right? Love is an action. You give love. You feel love, but that taking it away from the what do I want and putting it into I love you. What do you want? What can I provide because I love you? What can I provide? How can I bring value to you? And for to your point, yeah, if I've had that I think we all have, where it's like you're not getting me. You're not getting me. You're not hearing me. You're not seeing me. And to sit down and to really come together and say what is it that you where do you gather um, where is it that you sit that you and I can come together and I can show you love and you can share with your style of love with me. Yeah, sit down and have a talk.
Yeah, I think it's you making a great point, and I what I love about the love languages is that the love languages is is that it's to the point. It's really simple. Like, I need words of affirmation from you. I need for you to know that that's important to me. But it's really important that we know things about ourselves that we can communicate to the other person. Right? We can communicate to them that, well, this is what's important to me, okay, and this is my love language. And what is it important to you? Because I want to give you what you need, and I want to
Love.
be able to communicate with you what I need in case you don't know. It's so
Because
hard
when
to
you're in a
give to
relationship,
someone something.
because a relationship is not just about what you want, it's providing
Yes.
love to somebody else through, what doing great acts of service is my love language. Um, but,
Yeah.
I wanted to, yeah, you know, um, but we do need to sit with one another and just come together and ask, what is working for us and what is working for you, and how can I bring more value to us through you. I want to talk about as well, we are talking about growing forward with time. And with that is, you know, we can also, as we're moving into time in our lives, and you're with somebody for, a while now, let's say you've got a stable relationship. It could be a 15-year relationship. It could be a 30-year relationship. And, we've got scenarios that come through, like there could be a couple pause, right? What does that mean when there's a couple pause? Well, our bodies change, and not just women's bodies, men's bodies change as well. They've got the menopause. I don't know what it's called for the men, but you know, um, so the physical urges that we had once had can taper off. But does that mean our relationship tapers off? Because often in some relationships, if the love language is again touch, right, physical touch, and you're not receiving that any longer. So, what is your advice to couples who run into this couple pause time frame in their relationship?
I think understanding even what that touch is. So, like, most of the time on the touch, so it's not just the physical touch, but it's also it's the desire of feeling wanted. And when someone knows how to create that, so if you still can make someone else feel wanted, appreciated, significant, you know the challenges that might come, with the fact that maybe, for one way or another, health wise or whatever, what the reason is, the sexual intercourse is not possible, then I think if you are able to still give to someone, kisses,
Yeah.
touch, hand, hugs,
Right.
right?
Right.
Then that's still okay. But if even that not it's not possible, because let's just say we're taking a break to, like, we're pausing things just to get some clarity about ourselves or whatever, what the reason is, right? So it really depends what the reason is in the
Sure.
approach. Then it might be that, well, I mean, it will be a lot more challenging, but I can still offer affection.
Right. And
So I can
oh,
still fulfill emotional needs
right.
through being kind to, and you made a really good point. Like, touch is it's important, but it's not the only one. It's just the most important into the hierarchy, right?
I'm also
So
here.
if you
Continue. We have a little bit of a
Yeah, go
pause,
ahead.
so pardon me, but continue your thought, and then I've got my thought to share with you on that.
Yeah, so for me, I think, if touch is not possible for a health reason, you know, you can do that, as I said, through showing affection in other ways, showing affection by holding hands, showing affection by just being next to each other, right? So there are other ways that you can touch, not just to sexual intercourse. Um, or if it's just that we are posing things right now because we're trying to understand, do we still want to be in this relationship, then that's a completely different approach, right? So we don't need to stop. We we're stopping the touch, but we're not stopping the intimacy. We can still have some sort of intimacy and closeness, by doing other things. And it's just a matter of exploring what other alternatives are there. And it goes back to knowing yourself and knowing your partner as well, if you want to preserve the relationship.
If you want to preserve the relationship, key statement. With that
Mm.
comes you know, an array of things, right? So we could be in a place where we need to start looking at acceptance, and with acceptance, there's we need to also look into our supporting one another. And it doesn't just stop at I'm only accepting what this is, because maybe what this is isn't healthy. So then you've got to reevaluate what this is, and bring your partner into it. Allow them the space to, offer them the space to be curious enough to want to reevaluate the scenario, because we can shut down, we can be in a rut. And some people would rather brush things under the rug than to, look at it, to reevaluate. And maybe they're not sure how to go about it, because there's been so many. Now we're talking about if you're in a relationship that's been decades long, you find habitual ways of really living together, or habitual ways of speaking with one another. And there there is a opportunity there to challenge oneself, to find new goals, um, and bring it to the table. I'm frustrated because on the weekends you always are in the garage, and I want to go out and see the farmer market people. I want to go out and, we never shop together. So how about the new goal is, instead of shopping separately, that we go to the grocery store together. And, because those social, so without going into every scenario, but, acceptance, reevaluation, and setting new goals, and um, exploring curiosities, and new goals, and each other, you know.
I think often when we are together for a long
Yeah.
time, I think one of the problems we might encounter is that we could potentially grow apart because we are not fixed, right? We are constantly evolving. And as we evolve, our needs are changing. And if we want a relationship where it is acceptance, there is love, like I think it's important to understand what is it important to us to experience in that relationship, right? And there might be A, B, C, D, and so.
Right.
So, okay, so how can I create that, right? How can I create that with my partner? Well, if I want to create that, I need to understand, okay, I need exactly what you're saying earlier. I need to give this, okay? So my partner feels like their cup is full, right? So they can also give that. So if I want to spend time in the garage in the weekend, right, I can spend 3 hours in the garage and the rest, and 7 with my partner doing like what they want to do as well. So I don't have to put my needs on a side,
Right.
right? I just need to maybe just be more aware and attune to what he or she needs
I think you just touched
and
on
create it
debit and
together.
credit. Sorry about the pause. I think you just touched on the debit and credit system, where you debit, the credit, where you're giving into and then you pull out of. Because in relationships, you have to make sure that you are, you know, placing into the relationship, excuse me, before you. And then when you pull it out, what you need out of it, you've put into, you've invested in the relationship, in that person's wants and their desires as well, and
That's
Mhm.
right. Like there's always a need, for example, a simple example. Like some people are more hooked on certainty and some people like variety. So how do you have variety and certainty at the same time? Because certainty means I need a routine, I need everything to be the same. And variety means like I need new things all the time. So how do you manage to fit all of it? How do you manage that, the person who likes variety is not going to get bored, and the person that, likes certainty is not going to feel overwhelmed by all this newness and all like things changing all the time. How do you manage that? Well, again, you talk and you get clarity about what exactly specifically do you need in order to create some variety. Could be excitement. Okay, what could be excitement? Plan excitement.
Yeah. Everything
So
doesn't have
now
to
you
be
get
exciting, doesn't
by
have to
planning,
sorry, the pause.
yeah. So you can meet both. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, the pose, yes. So we can have, certainty and also excitement, to planning an activity that's excited and exciting. And then this way, both partners are being met. But again, it goes down to like, what is it that I really want to experience in this relationship? And can this person give it to me?
Yeah.
Can I create this with this person? And sometimes moving away, if you just move away and pause, doesn't necessarily take you there, but taking a pause to get clarity inside yourself and do a bit of work, right? Understanding what are my needs here, what I need to communicate to this person, right? And then you go and you communicate your standards and your boundaries and you say, this is what I need and this is what I would like. And I need to understand, what do you need from me? So I can give you what you need and you can give me what I need in this relationship. Outside the relationship, we're taking care of I'm taking care of my needs and you're taking care of your needs. But in the relationship, we need to make sure that if it's important for you to be wanted, I can create that for you, right? And I'll do what it takes. If you feel like you want to feel significant or if you want to feel loved, then I need to really ensure that your needs in that relationship are met. So the pause, it's welcome, but how we use the pause, are we using the pause to move away? Are we using the pause to get clarity? Are we using the pause to reevaluate so we're not under all the influence of the emotions? Right? So why are we pausing? Understanding that and communicating that to the other person helps us navigate it. And
Well,
being
I
respectful
certainly
that some
hope,
people pause.
I certainly hope that if anybody pulls anything out of this LinkedIn that you and I are sharing today, it's to be able to grab some of these ideas, because sometimes you don't know what you're needing to ask, or it's there can be there's it's a busy world out there, and to have and everybody's pretty much dialed into the outside world, and looking at this, that, and the other, and busy, busy, busy. But we really need to take moments to reflect, and we also need to take moments to, like you would in a business. You I think we forget the to get to pull our family in for a meeting without it being, a big heavy, we're having a meeting now. Oh, a lot of anxiety around that. What is she going to say now? Because there's always one that's the communicator. At least clearly this is what happens in my house. But that you come together and you have regular, let's sit down and let's talk about, let's talk about what we've been reflecting upon this week. And let's come together and see where we're at. And you know, I think it's really important that we just don't keep taking the relationship for granted, that we actually work it. Because if your business was, if you had some communication issues in your business and you had to have, your accounting person talk to the inventory person that handles all the inventory, and the marketing person, you have to come together and have a meeting. Well, we have to do that in our personal relationships as well. And I think we forget that, not to confront one another and start talking about grievances, but to to sit down with the end goal being something productive is going to come out of this, right? So teaching
Yeah.
an old dog new tricks. We've got to stay curious. about one another, and with the goal of, you know, I'm assuming that we're in a place where we want to stay in the relationship because that's what we're talking about. You are the relationship coach. This isn't a how to separate, but how do we stay? How do we give it a good go? And when we have many decades with somebody, it's, I think, really important that we do remain curious and interested in one another. And I don't know, what do you take on that? And we'll close with that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Being curious about, what are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What do you want? You know, uh, will open avenues of conversation, will open, I think, will open opportunities to actually create more of what you want ultimately. I think one of the problems with maybe more mature relationships is sometimes that we people get quite set in their ways, right? As you were saying earlier, we create those habits
Mhm.
and we're just kind of on the roll
Right.
of like, this is how it's been up until now. Why do I need to change? Right? Why do I need to change? Well, we need to change if you want to have that relationship.
Yeah.
And what used to work is no longer working, then you want to change it so you have the results that you want. Otherwise, I mean, if you put garlic in a soup, it's going to taste like garlic. And if you don't want that soup to taste like garlic, you got to stop putting garlic in it and put, maybe, I don't know, lime juice or whatever what it is,
I like
to have
that
that,
life juice.
different, you
For
know
more cooking tips,
so
see Cristina Davy on LinkedIn. I love it.
so that's, I mean, I think we need to really be more flexible and understand that routines are welcome in a relationship, but they can also be, you know an intimacy killer,
Yeah. You know,
a love killer, right? It just, we become so complex sometimes. We
complacent.
just
Right.
complacent. Yeah, we just kind of go with what it's been, and but if it's no longer giving us what's important to experience, to feel, maybe we need to pause and stop reevaluating, as you said, and really asking, be curious, as you said, be curious and ask those questions about, okay, well, what's important to you now? Because obviously what used to be important maybe is no longer important now. And I actually care enough for you to ask the question, to pause, ask the question, reflect on it, and take the action of in doing it and delivering it. So I know that you feel understood,
Yeah.
seen, heard, and validated in this relationship, because I know when you do that, you're going to open up to me, and then I can also have and experience what I want.
I'm smiling because, and I'm going to close on this. If you really want to spice up your broth and add some more lime juice, I would highly recommend. If you want some more recipes on how to add lime juice to your relationship life, I would highly recommend Cristina Davy. She is so approachable and so delightful. And Cristina, I want to thank you for joining me today. Um, if there is, I would like to close with your words on, where would you like to people to contact you? What's the easiest line to Cristina Davy?
Well, definitely LinkedIn, Cristina Davy without the H, just like Christina Aguilera without the singing. So, Christina Davy, dating and relationship coach. You're gonna find me on LinkedIn. You're gonna find me on Facebook. and Instagram and TikTok, but I'm more active on LinkedIn and Facebook. So by all means, for those of you who are in Australia as well, make sure that you join my meetup group where you can definitely meet someone if you're single, and if you feel like you're struggling and you are in that pause and you don't know where to go from there, just definitely send me a message. I would love to, give you one or two tips on how to change things.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you very much. So, everybody, listen, if you want to get a hold of Christina, you definitely need to get on LinkedIn. She's got some really great workshops, and I'd like to encourage you to look her up. And if you have a product or a service that you'd like to speak to at a 50 plus audience, I encourage you to contact me as well. I'm looking forward to seeing you all, and thank you very much for joining us today. Bye.